welcome back to another part of Higurashi When They Cry, part 37. So, continuing where we left off, behind my back I could hear her muttering. It was a faint mutter, and she was speaking to herself.
Sokka.
Okay, yeah, you really can't be trusted. Oh, you're creepy again.
Eh?
She wasn't saying it to anyone. It was Mion talking to herself. But it was a sobbing voice that had a kind of giddy cursing tone. Hey, fun! I inadvertently stopped and turned back towards her.
ケイちゃんに全部バラしたの。あの野郎か。
Oh, okay. Actually, just looking at this, it reminds me of it's like a zombie train game thing. I have no idea what it's called, but it's I have absolutely no idea. Like you're a train operator and it's a zombie apocalypse kind of thing, and it all goes bad. Anyway, yeah, that's what this reminds me of. But this is probably even more creepy. Okay. She balled up her fists as tears continued to rain down. That doesn't match what I'm here, reading. She glared at a spot at the ground, with a terrifying, yet smiling, face, cursing. A chill ran down my spine from that demonic expression. This transformation, Mion's transformation, was different from Renner's.
あの時殺しとくんだったな。
Aha! Who?
今年で定年だからって容赦してやった恩も忘れやがって。
Not Oi-san. Retiring this year? Was she talking about Oi-san?
ちくしょう。ちくしょう。あのじじい。
Oh.
絶対に殺してやる。
Uh-huh. It felt like the air itself had begun distorting. With Mion at the centre, the world had begun to twist and spiral. Bending. Whirling. This was the first time I'd experienced such a visage. Mion made up an excuse for her red eyes by saying there was something wrong with her contacts. Wait, she wears contacts? What colour are his eyes, anyway? After that, neither Renner nor Mion spoke to me for the rest of the day. Neither Satoko nor Rika-chan looked me in the eye. I wonder how much they know, because we know definitely Renner and Mion had their transformations, but what about those two? Strangely, I didn't feel hurt. Everything had just went back to the way it was. The month since I transferred in had almost been too much fun. That was all. School was supposed to be something like this to begin with. I wonder if what's his name, photographer's name, if he hadn't arrived, what would have happened to us? I should have disliked that feeling, but today it felt oddly refreshing. The bell rung, sounding the end of a monotonous school day, which had felt so tense, yet so dull. Since it would cause a lot of unpleasant memories if they asked me to join in to the club activities, I promptly started preparing to go home without even looking at them. I stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag, wrapped my hand around Satoshi's now familiar bat, and began heading towards the entrance. Okay, no, you just did head towards the entrance. I was assailed by both the exhausting relief that nothing had happened today, and the tiring possibility of the same thing repeating tomorrow. But, deep down inside me, far beneath the recesses of my heart, achingly, I knew. This would be the last day of this cycle. I couldn't tell how the ending would be, whether it would end as I wished it to end, or if it would end as I hoped it wouldn't. Regardless, in my current state, there was something more important than how things would end. There was something I wanted to know. Why did I have to be killed? How did it come to this? Why? For what purpose? The sunlight was relentless. The sun, the heat, even the air. They wouldn't give me my answers. Or could it be that the cries of Higurashi were desperately trying to tell me something? Somewhere, mixed in with their shrieks, Tomitake-san and Satoshi were also probably trying to tell me something. I simply haven't been able to realize it yet. When I do realize it, I wonder if I'll be amongst the Higurashi fruitlessly crying to the next victim. Glancing down at my feet, I saw a Higurashi on its back, spasming weakly. Pui, pui, pui. Pui, 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 pui. Anyway, there was still much of a summer left, yet this one was already chirping its last song. Is that a symbolism for you? I couldn't tell what it was saying, no matter how hard I listened. But I had to try. I had to try to listen to what it was desperately trying to tell me. At that moment, the shrills of Higurashi ceased all at once, as if they had huddled together, fearing that the person who brought them to their dreadful fate had arrived. There was no mistaking it. A presence was approaching. Okay. The sound of her footsteps was almost non-existent, like pit-pat, pit-pat, pit-pat. If the Higurashi hadn't warned me by ending their chirping, I wouldn't have noticed. They're like the, canary which you bring into the mine. Except for the Higurashi which you leave outside to warn you of a murderer. Anyway, my analogy didn't quite work as I wanted it to. The exhaustion left me in a heartbeat. In its place was a rush of adrenaline that sharpened all my senses. I was just barely able to hold off that creeping, suffocating feeling of horror. It wasn't something I could hold back for long. But in this moment, when I needed to be razor sharp, I was able to retain my composure. I wasn't going to shout like I did yesterday. I hid myself calmly amongst the trees, waiting for my pursuer's shadow. Could I get them to pass by me? No. Since I was able to hear their footsteps, they were probably also able to hear mine. They might have already been able to tell that I'd hidden myself and was holding my breath. The person tailing me, was it Rena, like yesterday? If it was Rena, I wouldn't hold back. I could just yell at her and make her go away like yesterday. If it wasn't Rena, it would depend on how they acted, I guess. The footsteps ambled closer. I swallowed, wiped my clammy hands in my pants, and readjusted the grip of the bat. I could tell that the fear I had beaten back once was now waiting for another opening to come at me. Who could it be? I peeked out from behind the tree at the person following me. My imagination hadn't led me astray. It was Rena. That face you're making. There was a bit of relief as I realised it was someone I knew, but that feeling left me in an instant. This wasn't the same Rena that I knew. Her eyes were dark and lifeless, but her mouth appeared as if it was carved into a crescent, Yes, it looked like she was grinning slightly. And in her right hand was an axe. I hid myself behind the tree once again and recalled the unbelievable sight I just saw. What was that just now? The embodiment of terror, laid bare. Baseball, practicing my swing. There were tons of excuses for me to be carrying a bat. But for that axe? There was no excuse for that. An axe, just like that?
ケイキくん、かくれんぼかなかな。
My heart was pounding. Hard enough that I had trouble breathing. What little composure I had been able to hold on to was now crushed. In its place, cold sweat gushed forth, covering my entire body, letting me know precisely what kind of emotion had taken hold. Not good, not good, not good. I wasn't able to hide myself completely. She already knew I was here.
レナを驚かせようとしたのかなかな。
I decided that it would be better to reveal myself now, since there was still space between us, than to allow Ren's to come any closer. I adjusted my grip on the bat again, readied myself mentally, and stepped out from behind the tree. Yeah.
ケイチくん、見つけた。
There's nothing creepier than a young girl laughing. In a place where laughter doesn't deserve to exist, I don't know, where it shouldn't exist. Anyway, Rena was pleased that she found me, eliciting a mysterious giggle. Her mouth was smiling, but her eyes told me that she was displeased by the fact that I had been hiding. Those eyes. They were just so empty. My legs began to quiver. No, not good. In the pit of my stomach, some sort of viscous... I always forget how to say that word. I know exactly what it means though. Anyway, hot and cold substance began spewing around. Probably vicious, yeah. If I allowed it, that substance would slip into my bloodstream and undoubtedly freeze all the organs in my body. Not good. Not good. I'll be devoured by Renra at this rate. As in, literally devoured, like for story? Strike back. Don't lose. What's worse is that I can actually imagine her eating him. Why did I make myself imagine that? I blustered, hiding behind my bravado. But Renna didn't flinch one bit.
ケイチくんと同じ。帰り道だよ。
じゃあそのナタは何だよ。
じゃあケイチくんのそのバットは何なのかな。
俺は素振りで。
じゃあレナは宝探しなの。
Yeah, the oddball who wouldn't look out of place with an axe. Yeah, remember that? Rena gave a flippant explanation as to why she had such a fearsome weapon.
宝探し？
ダム現場の宝の山にね、また新しいかいいのを見つけたの。
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the first thing which popped into my mind when I saw her with the axe was that exact scene, like, where you're looking at the magazine and she just appears. Yeah.
だからね、それを発掘するために必要なの。
信じるかよ、そんなの。
信じないよね。
Rena's laugh was very obviously strange. I'd seen Rena's transformation many times before, but the one today was completely different. Like a mischievous tone and the shrewd glint in her eyes. It wasn't something that roundabout. I'm not sure what to say. It was just so obvious.
待ってよ、ケイチくん。
Rena didn't stop walking, even as she let out that eerie laugh. Whenever Rena got too close to me, I would scurry away and turn back towards her. This cycle repeated over and over. No matter how you looked at it, I was being chased by Rena and was trying to escape.
ついてくるなよ。
それはできない相談だよ。レナの家もこっちだもん。
I mean, when would a normal person say, "My house is that way after all," and start laughing? When I met with Rena on this... laughing hysterically, might I add. When I met with Rena on this road yesterday, she cowered and trembled as she followed my commands, but this time she has an axe. But today was different. Yeah, she's holding an hatchet. Rena didn't show a hint of trepidation. Also, yeah, I went a axe, planning to say a hatchet, then said an hatchet, planning to say an axe. I really mixed those two together. Actually, wasn't I the one who was cowering? If the way home for Rena and me was the same, that's fine. I just changed my route. That would work out, wouldn't it? Do you know any other route to get back to your home? I turned onto a side street I've never been down and knew little about. But Rena saw me do that and followed me while laughing. Why? Why? Aren't you going home? I think we both know the answer to that. Then just go home down the street you normally do. Why would you follow me down this weird little side road? Those thoughts screamed in my head, eventually spilling out of my mouth.
どうしてついてくるんだよ。
The tone of my voice was already tinged with terror.
ケイチ君とお話ししたいから。
Then do it here?
ケイチ君もレナとお話ししたいんじゃないかな。かな。
Not really at the moment.
俺は何も話したいことなんかない。
嘘だよね。相談したいこときっとあるはずだよ。
Why do you want to kill me?
ない。レナと話すことなんか何もないよ。
嘘だよね。
嘘じゃないよ。
嘘だ。
Rena's scream echoed, startling some nearby birds into flight. I cringed in fear. The only other thing I could do was increase my pace.
お話ししようよ、ケイチ君。お話。
Why are you laughing after that? Why was I running down this unfamiliar and deserted street?
ケイチ君には悩んでることがあるんじゃないかな。
My life?
ないよ。何も悩んでない。
嘘だ。
Even though I was running, even though Rena was walking, why wasn't I getting any farther away? It's like she's your shadow sticking to you.
わかるよ。わかる。レナはわかるよ。怖いんだよね、ケイチ君。
Yeah.
怖くなんかない。何も怖いことなんか。
嘘だ。
Why have you got to be creepy, Rena? My breathing grew heavy, and it felt like my legs were giving out from beneath me. Rena wasn't even breaking a sweat.
レナだけは相談に乗ってあげられるよ。今度こそ乗ってあげられる。
I had no idea what she was talking about. What exactly she wanted to do.
今度こそ相談に乗ってあげられる。サトシ君の時とは違うもの。
When she said Satoshi's name, I turned back for a moment. But even as I did that, Rena was still advancing. I couldn't afford to stop.
サトシ君も悩んでた。辛そうだった。でもレナは相談に乗ってあげられなかった。とても悲しかった。
Where did the street connect to? I mean, this doesn't really look like much of a street. All these twists and turns, ups and downs. It was hard to believe that this was even remotely in the direction towards my house. My sense of direction had long since gone out the window.
サトシ君が転校しちゃった時ね、本当に後悔したんだよ。レナが相談に乗ってあげれば、サトシ君は転校せずに済んだかもしれないって。すごく後悔した。
The road led me deeper into the forest. Wasn't I getting farther away from the village the more I ran? I lost more and more of my composure the more I thought about it. But despite this realization, my inner self was still disturbingly calm. Is there something wrong with him as well?
だからね、誓ったの。もしもサトシ君みたいに苦しんでる人にもう一度会えたなら、レナが助けてあげようって。もう人が転校するところは見たくないな。
By save them, do you mean like save them from their misery by killing them? Then they won't transfer out, they'll just die? Damn it! What does transfer even mean? I won't let you transfer me. I won't end up the same as Satoshi.
さあ、ケイイチ君、レナに話して。レナはきっとケイイチ君を理解してあげられるよ。レナだけはケイイチ君の味方。
I don't know if I can trust you. I started wheezing, out of breath. My lungs were so hot that they felt like they were going to explode. My heart was beating as hard as it possibly could. I should have practiced running instead of my swing. I couldn't even afford to scoff at that stupid thought.
悩みがなくなれば、きっとケイイチ君も元通り。みんなとも仲良しに戻れて、また楽しく部活ができるよ。
Yeah, I think you're broken.
今度は一緒に組んで、みーちゃんをやっつけようね。
Yeah, how much fun that would be. Rena couldn't even imagine how much I would wished I could turn back with the clocks on these past few days.
レナともきっと仲良しに戻れるよ。また一緒に宝探しに行きたいね。今度はお弁当も作っていくよ。なんなら今から宝探しでもいいよ。行こうよ、一緒にダム現場。見つけたばかりのかわいいの、ケイイチ君にも見せてあげるね。
Can't help but feel like it's a dismembered arm or something. Except by now it'd probably be a skeleton. Anyway.
きっとケイイチ君も気に入るよ。
Actually, dismembered arm is probably just gone for good in the marsh. Since the murderer probably is one who disappeared and went into the marsh or something. He's probably gone. So the arm which he was carrying is also probably gone. Anyway. My footsteps made pathetic flapping sounds as my legs wobbled and faltered. Hot on my heels, Rena's steps were sharply breaking twigs underfoot. I had to accept it. I was on the run, being chased by Rena. If she caught me, it was all over. I realized it instinctively. I couldn't even begin to think of what the end would entail. Just that if I was caught, it was all over. That's all I knew. It didn't matter how it was going to end. I wouldn't let it end. Not without knowing anything. Not yet. That momentary lapse was all it took. Of all the things that could have happened, my knees buckled underneath me, and I crumbled towards the ground. I tried to stand frantically, urging my legs to respond. I used my bat as a makeshift cane to prop myself up, but Rena was already standing right in front of me. Yeah, compared to me, out of breath and utterly exhausted, Rena was so cool and composed that she could have froze the air around her. She wasn't breathing hard at all. Or rather, I couldn't even sense if her heart was beating.
何が怖いのかな。
You know, when you close your eyes, it means that we can't see your dead, cold eyes. That makes you look so much happier and so much nicer.
怯えるなんてケイチ君らしくないよ。
It's not like you to be creepy. Okay, it is like you to be creepy in one sense, in the weird, cute kind of thing, but not in the murderous way. Her expression looked almost affectionate. Those soulless eyes, that mask of affection. As she admonished me for trembling, Rena's hands deftly slipped over her head, yet what was that about helping me? The blur of the arms as they moved made me feel as if I was staring at the godliness of a thousand-armed Buddha. Then, as both of her hands met above her head, the axe that she held came into focus. I stared up at it in disbelief. It was all I could do.
教えてくれ。サトシはどうなったんだよ。
Rena stayed like that, with the axe raised above her head, and solemnly opened her mouth. It was as if she was expressing a farewell to a friend she was never to see again. That cool scenario resided somewhere in her actions.
言ったよ。サトシ君は転校したの。
その転校ってのをやめろよ。鬼隠しってことなんだろ。そうだろ。もう教えてくれたっていいだろ。サトシを消したのは誰だよ。エラか、ミオか、それとも村の誰かが。答えろよ。
It was you. I became frantic. The more I screamed, but Rena did nothing but maintain the smile frozen on her face.
ケイチ君が何を言ってるかわからないな。
Do you really not know? With those cold, dead eyes.
じゃあ分かるように言ってやる。連続開始事件の犯人は誰だ。
ケイチ君は勘違いしてるよ。
え？
人間の犯人なんかいない。
Oh, yes, you're a
すべてはお社様が決めることだもの。
お社様のたたりなんて迷信だろ。
You're saying this to the person who went on like a crazy spree, claiming to have seen Ayashiro-sama.
レナは信じてるってのか。
Of course she does.
信じるとか信じないとかじゃない。お社様はいるの。
The way it's got the quotation marks, I think maybe it exists, but not in the way that it is typically thought of or something. I don't know. Ooh. Rena's gaze grew even more gelid, whatever it is. The ferocity of her stare was so intense, not allowing me to question anything.
お社様なんているわけが。
ケイチ君は信じないの？お社様。
信じられるはずないだろ。そんなのいるわけがない。
いるよ、お社様。ケイチ君だって身近に感じてるはずだよ。
Is that what the shopping mart thing was? Or was that Rena?
そんなもの感じたことないよ。
Or in the doorway?
ケイチ君さ、誰かに謝られたことない？
Wasn't that you?
それもずっと。
All that noise from the outside world disappeared. Only Rena's voice resounded loudly and terribly.
それはね、許してもらえるまでずっとついてくるの。学校へも、お家へも、枕元へも。
I couldn't understand what Rena was saying.
レナのところへも来たんだよ、お社様。だからレナは転校してひなみ沢に帰ってきたの。
I don't understand. I don't understand. What does transfer even mean? I think maybe she does actually mean transfer for herself. Actually transferred back. And what was Rena saying?
圭一くんのところにもお社様来てるんじゃない？きっと相談に乗れるのは私だけ。圭一くんを転校なんかさせないからね。
Rena's demented laughter clanged around inside my head. Was Rena saying Oyashiro-sama came to her as well? That's right. Last night I heard about that when I asked about Rena.
他言無用でお願いします。また内容には一部憶測も含まれているかもしれません。すべてが真実ではないかもしれないということです。よろしいですね。
Oishi-san began speaking.
被害者も学校も告訴していないので調書がないのです。つまり警察が関与してないわけなんですよ。ですから詳細は関係者からの聞き取りのみなのです。つまり信憑性が高くない。
被害者って言いましたか？レナはガラスを割っただけじゃないんですか？
いえ、男子生徒が3人ほどリュウグウレナに殴られています。
Huh?
金属バットでです。2人はあざで済みましたが、1人は片目に後遺症を残すほどの大怪我をしたそうです。
Wait.
それって傷害事件じゃないんですか？警察は逮捕とかしないんですか？
どういうわけか被害者が告発しないんですよ。警察に届け出がないので。
Uh-huh. They were beaten with a bat and suffered significant injuries. Normally there'd be a criminal investigation, but why? Didn't they press charges?
被害者の男子生徒3人にもそれぞれ話を聞こうとしましたが、全員口が重いんです。
Yes, I'm over 30 minutes, so I'll end here for now, but I'll pick up again for next time. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. Until then, see ya.